I went to China. I was going to China a lot for work. And I remember walking down the street and someone said, "You have a QR code on your forehead." And I was like, that's interesting. So in China, they'll do like scans of your face, just like walking down the street. So that was like a really jarring trip. I'm like, keep coming out here for work. I must be coming out here too much because now they're picking up my face on like random cameras on the street.
Hey guys, it's Caviar and Wings, and I'm Sahar, and I am holding us down today. But I do have a special guest with us, Alexys Feaster.
Yay! I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you.
Let me tell you, this woman here, besides being a boss babe, has the best energy ever in life. And don't look deep into her eyes because they're like hypnotic, I promise you. But tell everybody who you are, what you do, how amazing you are in all the ways that you've been able to level up and boss up.
Thank you. Well, first of all, I appreciate the compliments. I do try to blink real fast and look at people and hypnotize them. But I'm Alexys Feaster. I'm the founder and CEO of the Kinship Advisors. I'm also a partner in Visibility Media. But more importantly, I like to think of myself as a person who loves to use storytelling and the development of people to impact the world. I've done that in various ways. I think most people know me for the work that I did with President Obama, leading his athlete and celebrity strategy and ensuring that he won a re-election. Also at the NBA, I helped to lead player development, ensuring that the NBA players on the court have all the tools and resources that they need to be just more than an athlete. And then now as a business owner, I've been an entrepreneur for almost 5 years, and my company, Kinship Advisors, does coaching, strategy, and advising for people of influence to help them make a bigger impact in the world. And I'm sure we'll talk later about the film and other stuff, but I'm just really, really excited to be able to share space with you.
Oh, told you she's amazing. I would like to hire the Kinship folks, but I don't know if my budget warrants it yet, but maybe one day.
Yes, one day.
One day, we're going to get there. I'm confident that we are going to get there.
Me too.
Tell me a little bit about how you even started a journey like that.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to make sure that the audience hears about the work and effort it took to get you to where you are now. I mean, working with President Obama is huge. Working with the NBA is huge, especially as a woman of color in these spaces that a lot of times are male dominated. How do you navigate that? Like, how did you even start? What was the first thing you said to yourself? Like, this is what I want to do, and this is how I'm going to do it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I mean, I'm from Southeast DC. So I think when you grow up in a place like Chocolate City in its prime, you're able to see the potential of yourself in so many different ways. So I think it first started with where I grew up. Also, even though DC was Chocolate City and you got to see Black excellence all the time, I also saw a lot of poverty like where I lived. My family's, regular middle class family. We lived not far from the intersection of Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Boulevard. We all know what those neighborhoods are like in every single city. But that was just, I just love my culture so much, but I know that we needed help. And so from a young age, I always wanted to be in a space where I can impact people and impact the community that looks like me. So that was really where it came from. I used to get ulcers as a kid. My dad would be like, "Why do you want to only feed homeless people? Like, we need to eat too." So there's been this theme, I think, of just the essence of who I am that's always been rooted in that. And I've taken a lot of, twists and turns and had a lot of setbacks. But my way to do that for me was, how do I influence the people that have the money and that have the power? So the way I strategically thought about it is I had to be uncomfortable and take risks. I moved to LA at 21, not knowing anyone, not having any connections in the industry, and just saying I'll sleep on my cousin's floor, which is what I did. And I'll be in programs and do jobs that mean that, I'm able to learn from the best. So I started off working at NBC in the Page program. A lot of people know that program because like Katie Couric was in it, and not a lot of Black people, but just folks that are in the media industry. And then I went into the music industry, and that's where I found my love of being in the creative space with people who use their music and use their voice to change how people feel. Like sports and music are the things that connect people regardless of your race, regardless of your upbringing. There's a universal language to that. So throughout my career, I've been able to find those spaces to do that. Now, it's been hard. You mentioned male-dominated. I'm clearly in very male-dominated spaces. I'm in spaces where, as a Black woman, folks kind of look at you and are like, "What are you doing here? What's your motive?" I've been lucky in that, I've always been able to stand 10 toes down and say, I'm here to do a job. And more importantly, as a Black woman in these spaces around NBA players and music industry people, I'm like their sister. I'm like their aunt. I'm like their mother. And I think for women, when we see ourselves, I think we need to take those characteristics that don't seem obvious. So I lead with the fact that no one can be like me. No one can bond with folks the way that I can, because we're nurturers as people. As a Black woman in America who had, ancestors who were slaves, who, had all of these trials and triumphs and things like that. To me, the breakthrough is that we stand in our power of who I was born to be. And for me, that's a nurturer, a community builder, and someone who uplifts other people.
I love that. And I think that I believe that that's what makes women so much more powerful and such great leaders. That nurturing factor, that perspective, that empathy you can have, and that energy you can bring is like priceless.
It is.
It really is. And that's what really sets you apart from everybody else that may be in that room with you and maybe questioning why you're even there. It's like, no, that's why you don't see my magic over here, but I'm going to show you.
Right. No, I love that. And I feel like when we were talking about Black girl magic and it was a thing and a catchphrase, the reality is, what does that mean to you? Like, how do you, again, bring out the essence of what your secret sauce is? And all the time, it's not that you can speak up for yourself, or it's not that you're good at math or a good creative. It's who were you born to be? How did your mother raise you? And I have those same conversations when I'm coaching and working with athletes and whoever. Like, what's the root of who you really are? And I think oftentimes we lose that with social media and with the jobs that we take and the sacrifices we make to make it. And I feel like we need to get back to the root of who we are.
Right. And I do feel like when people lean into that, that's when they see the most success. Like, for me, it's travel.
Right.
This is who I am.
Right, exactly.
So it's like, why not? Like, let's lean into it and see, and bringing travel to everybody else. Just making people feel more comfortable with it.
Right.
So when you lean into those spaces that are really true to your heart, and like, this is something that I feel is really powerful. And if I kind of share that with the world, then hopefully it'll be contagious, and others can like, oh, let me level up. Let me do these things. Let me see the better side of myself and expand my horizons and all the things.
Right.
All right. I'm going to get into the travel stuff. I absolutely promise. But I just have one more question, because you have such an interesting professional background, and her personal background is bomb too. But what was that one job where it's like, oh man, like, and hate is a strong word, but I'm gonna use it here. You just was like, I hate this job. This is not it. But you still walked away from it with really powerful lessons learned. Whether it's, I'm never gonna compromise what I want to do again, or these are the things I learned the hard way that had made me more powerful in the positions that you ended up having in the future.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that comes to mind is my PR job. So I have a degree in communications. I went to James Madison University. I had no idea. There was nothing like really entertainment focused as an option. So I was a comms major. And then I went, to LA and did this PR job. And while I was there, I think maybe 9 months in, I started to wear Juicy Couture velour outfits to work. And I remember
with the juicy on the butt.
Oh, juicy on the butt. And I had a burgundy one, a black one, a green one. I had them in all colors. And so I was like, I'm young, but I didn't start the job that way. I started, I took the good color and my boyfriend's name off my nails and went in with my little pearls
on.
Wait,
hold on. You had your boyfriend's name on your nails?
Oh, yeah. That used to be my thing. I used to get
I'm going to ask Kelly if they do that at Selfie.
Right.
I have never heard of such a thing. I guess, what if he has a long name?
Oh, I would abbreviate. I just want you to know it's real. I'm just exhibiting my love outwardly. But I remember I removed my man's name from my nails. That's a big deal. He was proud of that.
How did he feel about that?
He thought it was so cute.
Wait, when you removed it,
Oh, no. He was like, do what you got to do, babe. Like, whatever you got to do to have the job. Yeah, understand.
He was understanding. Like, if you break up with me because I took your name off my nails, then it's a problem.
Right. So to that point, I went in so proper, right? I'm like, I want them to take me seriously. And then like I said, 6 to 9 months in, I'm like wearing whatever. And I remember the president of the PR department, the comms department, she pulled me to the side and was like, do you not like this job? And I was like, actually, I don't. Come to think of it, this is not what I thought I'd be doing. But she was commenting on my dress. She was like, "You are just clearly rolling out of bed and wearing your sweats." And I was like, "Yeah, that's a good observation. That's exactly what I've been doing." But to answer your question, I remember always thinking, if my degree is in PR, then I have to do the job that's in my degree. And I don't know how many people have that same kind of attachment, especially when you're young coming out of school. But I was on this path of like, this is my degree. This is what I know how to do. Let me do this job. But I hated it. I was sitting in this office doing magazine clips and going on sets for shows like Biggest Loser, watching people who are overweight struggle to lose weight, which is something I've dealt with myself. I'm at, on shows like Fear Factor, watching people eat roaches. I literally roaches are one of my biggest fears. So I'm in this space doing this job that I literally hated. But the lesson was that regardless, until I got a new job, which of course I did pretty quickly after that, my lesson was that I can't let people see my hand. And so I showed my cards. I showed that I didn't care about the job. I showed that I wasn't happy in that situation. And, again, I'm 23, but there was a big lesson in that. I think it's, I need to have a better poker face. And until I have the new job, don't show the folks that you don't like where you're at. And I think now young people or people in general, we tend to let ourselves slack and kind of fall out of our character a little bit, which I think is what I was doing, wearing those outfits every day. I just didn't care. And so after that never happened to me again. So I never went into a job, for the next 20 years where people saw that whether or not I was about to leave or if I didn't like what I was doing, I have a better poker face now. And I think that's necessary in this day and age to, kind of move a little bit more in silence. I was moving outright like, y'all, I hate
loud.
This place.
You
I was
yelling.
loud. I was
yelling. Yelling.
Literally.
I do not want to be here.
Right. So don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Not a good idea.
Right.
Not a good idea. All right. So we're going to get into some rapid fire questions. So we can get a little bit more info on how Alexys likes to travel.
Yes.
Alexys is over here dropping gems.
That's what I do.
She drops gems. I hope you guys are listening. All right. So let's get into some rapid fire questions.
Yeah.
All right. You ready?
Yep.
All right. So we know you worked at the NBA for 6 years. With the expansion of the NBA overseas, which region or country will rival the U.S.?
I think Mexico City, potentially. Mexico City has a really good team just in general. And I feel like when there's a market and there's fandom, the NBA is about to play a game there in a couple of weeks. I see Mexico City as a really interesting, viable option. I think what's happening in Africa, obviously they already have the BAL league. I think that's going to continue to grow because a lot of those athletes in Africa have been coming to the States, but now they have their own league. So I would say between Mexico City and the BAL expansion in Africa.
Okay. All right, cool. NBA Finals or Paris Fashion Week front row with your favorite designer?
Paris Fashion Week.
Ooh, over the NBA Finals?
I've been to so many front row. Yeah.
It's another day.
Right.
All right, new guy, first vacation. What's the max length you're going on the trip?
Maybe 5 days.
Okay, that's
I would
not
do
too
5
bad.
days, a little bit longer than a weekend. Yeah.
Okay.
Especially if I really like you.
Okay. Underrated country or city that everyone should visit?
Underrated that I've been to?
Mm-hmm.
I would say Portugal.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's fair. Are you the planner or the Venmo friend?
I'm the planner. I do not want to be the planner anymore, though.
Oh, you're trying to retire.
I'm trying to retire from doing any type of anything.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. But that's clearly not working out for me. A place you would never go back to?
A place I would never go back to. Like a city, country? I know I'm not being rapid at fire at all. I probably would not go back to Madrid. I didn't love Madrid.
You didn't love Madrid?
I did not. And I lived in Spain.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. How long did you live in Spain?
About 7 months. I did a study abroad. And so, Madrid to me didn't do it.
Favorite airline? I already know what you're going to say, and it's really going to annoy me, but go ahead. What's your favorite airline?
No, I like Delta.
I know.
Yeah.
That's why I said it was. All right. Solo trip or group trip?
Ooh. I like a group trip.
Okay.
Yeah, but we can talk a bit about solo trips too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I like a little solo.
Worst airport?
Oh, Miami Airport.
Yeah, if people don't stop talking about my Miami airport like that.
Airport. The worst. Fort Lauderdale all day.
Something you never travel without?
without my passport.
Oh, even if you're flying domestically,
I do, just in case.
Just in case.
Just in case.
You know what? You never know when a man is going to call you
I'll
up
tell you.
and say, guess what? Do you want to go abroad tomorrow?
Yes, I do.
You got to be ready.
Yeah, I do.
Window seat or aisle?
Window.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Worst work travel experience you ever had?
Worst work. I guess I went to China. I was going to China a lot for work. And I remember walking down the street and someone said, you have a QR code on your forehead. And I was like, that's interesting. So in China, you know, they'll do like scans of your face, just like walking down the street. So that was like a really jarring trip. I'm like, keep coming out here for work. I must be coming out here too much because now they're picking up my face on like the streets, random streets, random cameras on the street. Wow. And they could see that there was like some kind of, they described it as a QR code that was like on my forehead, like projected on my forehead. That was a scary, random experience.
That's crazy. I'm gonna walk around with a hat and glasses on.
Right.
That's wild.
It was very, very strange.
So you'll have to tell us more about China.
Yeah.
But let's talk about how you grew up traveling. Like where did you, like, you grew up in Southeast DC. Where did you go as vacation growing up? How was that travel experience for you growing up?
Yeah. I mean, we were in DC and my family is originally from South Carolina. So that was really the trip that we would take. If it was a holiday or spring break, we would literally like load up in our station wagon. And her name was Betsy, by the way, Betsy the station wagon. And we would drive down to South Carolina. And that was really our thing. Like, we didn't do a lot of beaches. I don't think I even went to Myrtle Beach as a kid. So it was really family focused. And then when I was graduating high school, I had the option of getting, a new like full outfit with like Jordans. Or back then the, flights were really cheap. And so my sister suggested, like, for the same price of an outfit, you can go to Paris. And I was like, oh, well, let's go to Paris. So my parents sent me with my sister, who's like 6 years older, to go to Paris for my graduation trip. And that was the first time I've taken like an international flight and been on a plane and realized that the kind of basic things that we were spending money on, I could do the same, I can travel the world for the same amount of money. So that's when I first started my love of travel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you were what, like
17, 18
at that time?
Mm-hmm.
So what was it about that experience that made you feel like, wow, I want to do this again? I can't imagine being 17 or 18 years old in Paris. I didn't go to Paris until I was an adult.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because it wasn't a great trip. Like, I remember it rained the whole time. Whatever shoes I brought were not conducive to the cobblestone. My feet were hurting. Like, I have all of these experiences. I remember calling my dad and like, I need sneakers. And all they had was like a Prada sneaker store. And he's like, I don't even understand what's happening. Like, how are you in this designer store? They didn't even have my size, but I got them in a size too big because my feet were hurting so bad. So there was this whole like funny story of the experience. But I think for me, it was the value. So that was when I saw the value of money. So I can wear J's and spend, however much they were at the time, probably $90, $100, or I can go see the world. And so my experience with that, relative to money and how we use currency and the things that we choose to do with our money, that was really eye-opening. And then, of course, seeing the Eiffel Tower and the Mona Lisa, it just felt like an out-of-body experience. And to do it with my sister was really great. So, no, I loved it.
Yeah, there's something to be said for sure about spending money on these experiences that will live with you for a lifetime versus a pair of sneakers or an outfit that's gonna, run its course and you'll probably put it on the real.
Yeah. Shameless plug, real. No.
But I also know people who are cutting corners on the trip, but yet will go buy an new outfit for every single day of the trip. Right. But yet when you're on the trip, they're like, well, I'll just have water because you don't want to like order everything you want to order because you spent all your money on the outfits.
Oh, like, absolutely.
That's crazy.
No, it happens all the time. I feel that way even about like wellness experiences. So one of the things I love to do when I travel is do the spas or find out what's the local thing that people are doing. I go to China or Thailand, I want to do those massages. So for me, I spend my money on that. So to your point, people have their things. I'd rather not have the new outfits and all the things and say, okay, well, I want to experience whatever the ritual thing is that happens in that country. Those are the types of things that are, I like to spend my money on.
Okay. And at 17, 18 years old, being in Paris, your first time out of the country, right?
Yep. First time.
Were you scared at all? Like,
Yeah,
where am I? What am I doing? Where do I go? Like, some of the tools we have now weren't available to us at that time, probably, as far as how easy it is to search and find the restaurant or the store, or how to get, like, if you get lost, how to get to where you need to go. Like, they were around, but it's not as efficient as it is today.
Right. Yeah, having my sister, she reminds me of you and of us now. I feel like she was like that when she was young. She had all the research. She knew where to go, the best hotels, the best place to have a dessert or the croissant, all the things. So I was just lucky that, I had her. And shout out to Ricky, 50th birthday yesterday. I know she says don't say her age, but so everybody knows.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Yeah, so it's one of those things where, I have older sisters that cared about travel and that were already doing those things. So I felt really comfortable and safe. I was actually surprised my parents sent us alone, to be honest. Like, that was a surprise. Like, they're just sending us out in the world.
She was older, so they probably felt like it was safe. My parents wouldn't let me go anywhere. I literally had to move out of the house before I could go anywhere.
Oh.
Yeah, and for us growing up, it was the same thing. We're hopping in the car. We're not really getting on a plane and going anywhere.
Right.
We're going to drive and go see family. It was very family oriented.
Now that you just said that, I'm reflecting. It's 6 of us in my immediate family, my parents, and then it's 4 kids. I don't think we ever took a flight as a family, ever. Like, I'm literally just now, it's dawning on me that there has never been a flight where all 6 of us were on a plane together, like, ever.
Yeah, that's wild. It's the same thing for me. Never.
Yeah.
And
isn't that crazy?
It's crazy. And we didn't do, like, real family vacations, like, and when I say family vacation, not to go see other family members.
Right.
That's what it was for us growing up. It was like, oh, no, let's go to Spain. Let's go here. We didn't do that until, like, a couple years ago.
Right.
A couple years ago. And a lot of that really stemmed from my parents moving back overseas. And it's just difficult for them to come all the way here stateside, and actually more affordable for us just to meet them somewhere and hang out with them for a week.
Yeah, but that's beautiful you're doing that now. I'm sure the memories there just, like, I would love to see that. My parents are not together now, but for 30 years they were. But yeah, so I think that's a really beautiful experience as an adult to do too.
Yeah, and when I see families now together, especially flying first class, I always want to be like, what do you do for a living to afford to fly your entire family?
Right.
It'll be like 6 of you sitting in first class, because that isn't cheap.
I know, not at all. But that's what's about to happen for us. So,
I hope so. I would still stick my kids back in coach. You guys can go sit back there. You'll be okay.
Right.
You probably won't, especially if they're young. You won't even remember this. Like, you'll be okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to save myself a couple of dollars.
Right.
Like, I'm going to sit back and coach with my Birkin and save my money for the shopping back in, when I get to Paris.
Right. I see you.
Let's run a scenario real quick since we're on the topic of Paris, and I love this question. You're dating a guy, and the first class seats to Paris are, let's say, $8,000 a piece. He's like, okay, we can do this. Or you can choose to fly coach, and the money you save will go shopping in Paris. Are you going to go sit in coach?
For that long flight, probably not.
Okay.
I feel like, I would rather not.
And you would rather be next to him.
And I'd rather. See, he was going to have me in coach, and he's in first?
Yeah. He's like, here's the $8,000. You can choose to sit next to me in first, or you can choose to sit in coach.
I might choose to not even get on that flight with him. Why is he asking him to stay in coach? Or him?
Well, he's not asking you to be in coach. He's
giving me the choice.
He's giving you the choice.
Yeah. Yeah, no. That I wouldn't want that. Either we are sitting in coach and we're saving the $16,000. Like, either way, if you're trying to separate us even as an option, no, I'm good on that. But
not with your name on my nails.
Right. Come on. What does it say? No, I'm kidding.
I've seen it happen. Yes. I swear to you, I've seen it happen multiple times on a plane where the husband is in first and the wife is in coach.
No way.
It happens. All right. So after Paris, tell us how your travel journey evolved.
So after Paris, went away to college, and of course had the bug. I feel like, again, like that experience was like, oh my gosh, I could see the world. So I studied abroad. I went to University of Salamanca in Spain, which is why I have that Madrid thing. I'm like, once you've lived in Salamanca and you've been to, all the other places in Spain that are amazing, Sevilla and all of that, to me, Madrid was whatever. But so I spent that whole semester in Spain. and then travel the world. It's so easy, like you said, to go international. I went to Italy, I went to Portugal. I just kind of hopped around.
Were you getting on the train a lot of those times? And
I was just taking the cheap flights, like the
little $100
flights. Yeah. We had a travel agency around the corner from my madre's house, and so I would just pop in and be like, what's $60 or what's $50, and we would go to wherever those places were, wherever they had the package for a couple of days. So then I was doing that kind of through college, after college. And then I had jobs where, the NBA in particular, where it took me around the world. I traveled with Team USA with Coach Pop, and that's Australia, that's China. I think one year I went to China maybe 5 or 6 times. I was in China a lot. I could never go back and be fine because I've spent so much time there. But yeah, so then I started to have the jobs that took me places around the world. And I found myself now, and I don't know, again, how many people this happens to, is I look up now and I'm like, if I'm not traveling for work, am I doing as much personal travel as I would have liked or that I did when I was younger? So I really want to lean back into that, doing more of the personal stuff, again, doing more of the well-being. It's really a passion of mine to go to spaces and places that are about inner healing. So I will seek out those types of locations to do that. So I just have to rethink the way that I'm traveling. And I think this is the time, and having this conversation with you, it's reminding me that so much of what I do is work related, and I need to lean more into my personal travel.
Yeah, I find a lot of times too, it's, when I was doing a lot of work travel, I would piggyback, since job was kind of footing the bill.
Right. Yeah.
I would piggyback another city that was personal. And it's like, okay, I'm in, Paris, let me hop over to Spain for some personal stuff. Yeah. Or I'm in India, let me stop over somewhere else before I go home and really get an opportunity to, maximize the time I'm spending here abroad. Like, that's key.
Right. That's true. I did that with Cannes. So the year before last, I was in Cannes and said, okay, if I'm here for work, then let me go to, other places. So that's true. That's always effective.
Oh, what was in Cannes for work?
Oh, so for Cannes, I was doing some speaking. Obviously Cannes has become the place for, people that look like, us, more creatives. And so having the opportunity to speak on panels and host folks and, attend places like Sport Beach, I think that was amazing. Female Quotient. So I was going for that, and it was, an amazing time.
Yeah, the International Creativity Festival.
Yes,
so that's always in June, folks, and it is a really good time. It's a great networking opportunity. Yeah. We've done an episode on it. Go watch it on YouTube. But yes, it is, and Cannes is so close to so many other really nice destinations that are in the south of France that a lot of people end up piggybacking off that trip and making time to go to Saint-Tropez or Monaco.
Yeah, I did all that.
I did all of that.
I did all of that. Went to Saint-Tropez, Monaco, Paris,
So do you ever find on your work trips that you can even find time for yourself? Because even though, like Caviar and Wings, we travel a lot for the brand, we find that when we're on these trips, we're working so much. It may not look like it, but I promise you, it is so much work that it is different. It's very different than a vacation. And I think sometimes people conflate the two as far as, oh, you're traveling, so you're having fun, and you're, here, and you're doing this and you're doing that. Where a lot of times it's, no, I'm going from these conference rooms or this court to maybe a dinner, and then back to the room, and then rinse and repeat the next day until you leave, and you don't really get to explore the city like you would if you were on a vacation.
Yeah, that happens all the time. I think that's why this is such a great conversation, because in theory, yes, piggybacking and doing another trip, but sometimes my work trips, I'm on a month-long trip right now. So by the time I'm finished traveling for a month with these big suitcases and all that, I just want to go home. I just want to be in my bed. So that does happen. You're just so busy, and the little breaks in between. I have like 2 or 3 days off. Like, yeah, I could go somewhere, but I'd rather just be home. But really trying to build that in, I think it's smart, right? I've done it before, but that's been my pattern. I'm gone for so long. I just want to go and be in the bed.
How do you pack for being gone for so long? People ask me that all the time. And for me, it's a process.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what it's like for you. I don't know what kind of packer you are. But for me, it's definitely a process.
Right. It is. I have the cubes, so I have practical things that help. But I have like 2 big ass suitcases that I always, when I'm on a trip like this, that's like my max. And then, as you've probably seen, because you've seen my hotel rooms, I'm an online orderer. I will have the whole entire Saks, whatever, Revolve, whatever it is, like delivered to my hotel room. And I'll see what fits. And that's been working for me. It's obviously not efficient. I feel like I waste unfortunately a lot of money and then have to do like what I have to do today is like go back and like ship things back that don't fit. But it works for me. You know, it helps me to alleviate stress so that if I'm missing something, I know when I'm getting to wherever I'm going. And most of the time I'm either going to be in photos or doing a panel or be someplace where I know this isn't good, but I don't like to wear the same outfit twice to things that are very, very public. There's nothing I need to get off of that.
You're
it's
one
not,
of those.
I'm one of those. It is. I'm trying to like knock myself out of it, but I wear a lot of prints. I think I wear a lot of things that aren't that subtle. So I'm just trying to, you know, as you know, I need a stylist to help me kind of minimize the types of things that I wear so that I can get more wear out of them.
We're going to have some stylists slide into the comments.
Yes,
and
please.
Be like, I got you, girl. I got you.
Yes.
Yeah. Getting off the habit of not wearing something like only once and being done is really challenging.
Oh, it
and
is.
expensive.
It is, yeah.
It is. I suffer from it too from time to time.
Right.
I'm a work in progress.
Me too.
You are going to see me repeat stuff because Caviar and Wings is just way too much content we're capturing for me not to repeat. Let's be clear.
And it's smart. I mean, it's efficient. That's why for me, I'm like, it's on me. I need to, like, I'm wearing Argyle right now. I'm like, do I want to wear Argyle again? You know, someplace else that is, I'm going to be seeing. Probably not, right? So
no more Argyle. No more Argyle.
Yeah, I can't now. So now I got to start again. So, but I need to do better. I like, my dream is to be like Angelina Jolie, who's like, I just wear the same thing in different colors. Like it's black, gray, tan, brown. And, you know, I actually really respect people who minimize their wardrobe in that way.
That's smart.
Mm-hmm.
I would save so much money.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, really, I started just hitting up Shein a lot more often is
really
the alternative for me. But
right.
Yes, one and done, which is so wasteful.
It is.
It's okay though. I mean, such is life. All right. So what was that first trip you took where you felt like, damn, mama, I made it. Like, this is like, I have accomplished some things and look at what I am able to facilitate because I've done all the work and put all this energy into things and wasn't scared to step out of a comfort zone and do something really over the top.
Yeah. What comes to mind, and this is probably not what you're talking about, but I remember I had a friend and he was saying, you know, like, let's take a big trip. Like, let's go someplace like amazing. And he took me to the Amanyara resort that was in Turks. And this is many, many, many years ago.
I mean, that's not a bad place to go.
It wasn't a bad place. So I feel like going.
You're familiar with the Amman hotels. Well, I shouldn't even say hotels because they're resorts and experiences. It is not a bad place to go.
Not at all. So that's what come to mind for me for the first one, because I remember we landed. I think we maybe even taken a private plane at some point, some leg of the trip.
You heard her. She said it. She said it. I know she was trying to understate it, but they took a PJ.
Yeah. Okay. And then we get there and you like have your own like hut that's literally on the ocean and in the sand, and you know, you're just looking out and there's nobody around you. And I was like, okay, maybe I made it, you know, like maybe this is not even maybe this is my life. This is the life I'm going to manifest for myself. And it was this amazing, you know, trip. Everything about it was great, except for that it was so hot. This is fun fact for the person, if you ever see this episode, he's going to remember this. It was so hot that I like fainted. It was the first and only time I've ever fainted. And so I was so embarrassed because we're like sitting on the beach and like laying on these rocks. And, you know, like, you know, that area I think is like, you know, a lot of new beaches and stuff too. So I remember like laying on this rock and
were you nude?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So.
Oh my God, I love it.
No, it was one of those beaches, right? Where you like that's what you do.
So everybody was nude?
No, it was private. We had our own private.
Oh.
Everything was private.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. But
I thought it was like a new beach or something.
No. I'm not taking it
I was
there.
about to ask so many questions.
No. I've seen them. I've walked by them. But this was like everybody has their own. So it was a really great experience. And I just remember like waking up and he was like panicked. And I was like, what happened? He was like, you literally fainted. Like you almost rolled off the rock. Like you literally, I scared him apparently. So that kind of put a little weird vibe on the trip. But
did he call, what's their version of 911?
Yeah, I don't know. But someone from the hotel came and gave me like, you know, a sweet drink or whatever it was.
As you were laying there naked?
I was covered up. I had clothes. I ended up, like I said, I woke up and I was like, what happened? Because it felt like people were frantically tending to me. And I think it was just so hot. And I hadn't, you know, I guess properly hydrated. But so part of that trip, I have this funny memory of like the first and only time that I ever fainted too. But the Amanyara resorts, like that's the place to go.
You guys continue dating after that? His name?
We're friends. Like it wasn't even that it was like that we were dating. Like he was like, we were really good friends. I know that sounds random, but it wasn't all like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it was good though. We're still friends now.
I don't get naked in front of my male friends.
You don't?
But no.
when they're your platonic friends.
I don't say,
maybe at
let's
20
lay here naked and get some sun.
But you know what? I think at that age, maybe you would have. You know,
really? I don't think so. And I'm a very free spirit, so I don't like. Yeah, no. I mean, maybe some titties. I don't know
that's
about
how I feel.
nude.
Yeah, I don't think I was full. I wasn't like VJJ out.
Oh,
No.
it doesn't count when you got
topless.
your bottoms
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
Like,
oh, because it was platonic. This was like a wellness. Think of it like a wellness retreat.
Okay. Is that how he was thinking of it too?
He was not. I will say he was not. We had that conversation. That's why we're good friends now. I remember.
You learned that the hard way.
No, I remember specifically, and this is for all you ladies out there, like fun fact.
Oh my God.
From an early age, I've been very vocal about boundaries. I remember being like, oh, if we're going here, if this is the kind of trip, just FYI, that's not the vibe.
happening.
And he was like, oh, of course, like we're friends. Like this is just to have a good time. So for all the ladies out there, just say it up front. And of course, in their mind, they may have like a dream of what could happen. But I've always been very clear, like, if if it's about to go down.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a clarity there that I like to provide for people.
I've done that before.
Yeah.
Because I had a guy ask me on a trip, and we were like date number 2. I mean, he asked me to go to a wedding with him.
Oh.
And, it was a trip. So I was like, I mean, I don't know what you're expecting. We can go, but that's not going to happen. And I was like, you don't have to give me an answer now. Just think about that. Because if you have somebody else you can take who...
Right.
I suggest you do that. I won't take it personal. This is new.
Yeah.
I'll catch you when you get back on the other side.
Right. And I think it's kind of like, and again, no shade to anyone, like this idea that women go on dates with men to get free food or go on trips to get free travel. Like, I've never been that person. I can take my own trip. So, and I go with my friends, or like we figure it out, however it needs to go. So even in this example, I think that was the first time that I traveled with a male friend. And again, we were such good friends that it felt okay. And 20 years later, we're still friends and have never dated like that or anything like that. But I will say, to your point, afterwards, I remember thinking, oh, I can't do that again. So I don't think since then I've ever been on a trip, a solo one-on-one trip with a male friend that was just platonic. Because it is kind of awkward after the fact, right? Like you get there, but again, no shade. I know that's how some people travel. That's just never been my thing. No, I'm only tripping with my man.
Okay.
Yeah. You know my man.
His name has got to be on the nail before the trip
right.
happens.
It is. I told him.
That's cute. Yeah. Okay. So that was the first, like, okay, this is the new standard. This is the bar I am setting for myself.
Yes.
How is that? Is that bar higher now? How do you feel like you're traveling now in the present moment?
I think similar, right? I think, being 23, 24, staying at those resorts that, my peers are just now staying in, I just knew like luxury and quality, right? And so even though, again, I grew up very middle class, my mom, we used to have the Rob Report in the house, and we used to watch the what's the caviar, the show that we were talking about?
The lifestyle of the
Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. So I always knew I liked nice things. So I always knew that I liked what I was seeing as it relates to Rob Report and Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. And, you have goals and aspirations to have these experiences. But I do think being there, and they had these little like tostones with like duck on it. It was my first time having duck. I'm like, oh, this is how I need to live my life, So that did kind of set the standard. And I think now it's the same. I have like loyalty to certain hotels because I like points, and I know you talk about that a lot in your show, all of the different ways to travel too. So I have some affinity to certain kinds of places because I want to be able to accumulate, all the points and all the things. But I definitely am, again, 5-star is what I prefer. And when it comes to wellness type spaces, I know I keep mentioning that because it's a huge part of how I like to travel. I'm a little bit more bare bones. Like I've been to upstate New York and, lived in the cabins before, to be at retreats with Queen Afua and Debbie Brown. When I do stuff with Deepak Chopra, it may not be, whatever, at the Ritz-Carlton, but I will go to places where I can get an experience too, even if it's not, 5-star accommodations. Like experiences to me mean a lot.
Right. It matters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What you walk away from that experience with is just as impactful as what sometimes, might be considered more luxe in the experience you get while you're there.
Right.
The health and wellness, it's such a, I call it a trend right now, but for those who've been in the space, understand the importance and the value that you get out of it when you're experiencing those moments and being in those spaces, and just really just when it's all around you. It's like when you immerse yourself in a different language, it's the same thing when you immerse yourself in this health and wellness and just being aware of working on you.
Right. How has that been? Are you seeing that as a trend? I mean, you're an expert in this space. Are you seeing that people are going more for the wellness type experiences? Like, how is that looking?
There is so much happening in the space of travel, as far as the volume of travel that's actually increasing as well. You know, you have these younger generations that are a lot more conscious of, you know, health and wellness and all those things, because there's more awareness around it. And they are more inclined to experiences. I think we all are, because anyone can pop up a hotel.
Right.
But what experience am I walking away with? How did that hotel make me feel?
Right.
Like, what senses did I get when I was speaking to the staff? What senses did I get when I walked into the room? What kind of programming did they have?
Right.
I think all of those things are what are setting these different hotels and resorts and I'll call them brands, because they're multifaceted now. What's setting you apart in the industry that would make people, you know, want to spend their money with you? Because there's a lot of people competing for those dollars.
Right.
And when you can walk away with something that is actually valuable and makes you feel a certain way, that's a thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of the really smart brands are doubling down on that. You're seeing now members clubs as well that are focusing on health and wellness, and a lot of these resorts that not only are they eco-friendly, but you're talking farm to table, and really something that's just end to end. And that's what I feel like is going to keep the consumer coming back.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
I walked away feeling better than when I got there. I didn't go and have like, oh, it's just another hotel room and I'm just another guest, and okay, you got to check out by 12 o'clock because I got to clean your room for the next one.
Oh, yeah. Like, I just went to Savannah in Arizona, and we did like inner child healing, and we did rituals, and we did prayer circles, and we did forecasting for our life, and we did something called free dancing, where we're dancing around in a room in the dark, and you know, and it was at a 5-star wellness resort, and the food was amazing. But I go to these places specifically for that, and you know this because you've been to my house. I literally moved to Florida and built a house that feels like a sanctuary, and I have women come and they use it as a retreat. And so the whole experience thing is something that I think is so valuable. And again, we're working so hard, we're traveling, we're trying to accomplish our goals, we're on our grind. What is it like, you know, when I think about travel, being on the road so much, traveling back to my home and being back in my own sanctuary? I look at that too, the same way as doing international travel. I'm like, I get to go back and be in this space and create space for other women to feel like they're vacationing when they come into my home. And so, you know, I really love it.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. It's definitely a thing. And if you're not tapped into it, you should.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times, especially in the Black and Brown community, it's like, health and wellness, come on, man. Like, it comes across a certain way, and there's a stigma associated with that we really need to break down. Like, give it a chance. Go just one time and see how it makes you feel. Like, look, if you don't like it, don't ever go back.
Right, yeah.
But give it a chance.
Right.
Try it just that one time. And, you know, at least you can say, I tried.
Right. Agreed.
Yeah. So what's next for you as far as travel?
What's next? So like I said, I'm here. I've been on the road for a while. So we're in New York, and I guess we can talk if you want to talk a little bit about Brooklyn.
Yes. Why are you in New York?
Yeah. So I'm in New York. I came for CultureCon.
Except for caviar and wings, of course.
I came to New York for caviar and wings, literally to eat caviar and wings. My girl, Sahar. But I
did that.
And we did that. We did that. But I came in town because my great girlfriend, Amani Ellis, who is the founder of CultureCon and CCNY, is, you know, just an amazing businesswoman, entrepreneur. But she has a festival in Brooklyn. And it was at the Navy Yard. So I know you were there and you all got to experience it too. But so I came in town to speak on the main stage with my business partner, Jesse Williams. We did a movie together called Hoops, Hopes, and Dreams, directed by my other friend, Glenn Kino. And it's the untold story of how Dr. King used the game of basketball to bridge the gap and to, you know, bring people together in the community. And it also tells a story about President Obama and how he used the game of basketball. And so I was able to use my experiences both in politics and sports and community building to produce this movie that premiered at Sundance, won the Cleveland Film Festival, and was just sold to Anscape and Walt Disney, and will be
Wow.
premiering, yes, at the top of the year. So we're very, very excited. We actually made the announcement yesterday as well that January 19th, MLK Day, is the day that we're premiering. And there could have been no better place than Brooklyn and in that audience to talk about the film. And then, of course, afterwards, we went to the Compound Gallery, which is founded by Set Free, also in Brooklyn. It's just a space that he's always used to bring community together. And so all my girlfriends and you and like so many people were there to support us and to toast us. And we had our Anscape family, Jason Adu and the crew there in house. And so it's just really been a great time in Brooklyn the past couple of days. So when I leave here, we're going to the Hamptons Film Festival. We're going to be showing the film there. And then I'm going to LA after this to screen in LACMA at the art museums. We have a couple of dinners that are being hosted. I'm doing some podcasting there too, some interviews, media around well-being. And so I'm super excited. So just kind of on the road until I think October 20th, something like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
To like produce a movie, like I don't even know where I would start wrapping my head. I mean, I struggle with producing a podcast. So I can't imagine like stepping into a space where you're producing such an amazing film with such an amazing supporting cast of people that you're going into the project with.
Yes.
You know, Jesse Williams has done amazing work. I mean, I'm sure that I can't wait. It's going to be on Hulu.
It's going to be on Hulu, and then Hulu on Disney Plus.
Yes, January 19th.
Yes.
So you have to check that out. You did an amazing job at CultureCon, and the way that conference has really evolved in such a short amount of time. If you haven't been yet, if you are an entrepreneur, if you are a creator, if you are new in your career, I would say you have to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it is so inspiring, and you have so many great experience, like, and people who really just care. Speakers that come on stage and just drop so many gems, and you guys did as well, about just the whole experience of being an entrepreneur, being a creative, starting a new effort, doing all the things. Kudos, because that conference is absolutely, I don't even want to call it a conference.
Right.
It's not. It's like, it's an experience.
It is. I mean, the setup, the speakers, and again, like for us, I mean, we were very intentional about where are we going to make these announcements? Like, what's the audience for that? And to your point, that's the audience. It's other folks that are creatives, but it's also people who want to be inspired. And I think my key takeaway, even from that conversation, the theme that I think we were all talking about was really this idea that anyone can tell a story, right? Like this idea that you have to be a producer or that you have to know how to make beautiful content. No, you can tell a story. Like, what's your grandparent's story? What's the story of your ancestors? What story do you have that you can just put on camera or put on tape, or, you know, just allow people to share and uncover and unpack how they got to where they got, or some of the trials and triumphs and breakthroughs of life. I think we need more of that in our community. We need to see more of ourselves. There's so much happening in our world right now that is lies and that is negative, that we need to lean into the joy and the community of it all. And so having that as the platform to do that, the amount of follow-up we've had already, the amount of commentary, the amount of, you know, new people in my DMs talking about this, and it's something that's really exciting. And I think that in January when we premiere, it's only going to continue this machine of being able to see these stories and be filled with hope at a time where I feel like, you know, there's a lot of hopelessness going around.
Oh, that's dropping gems. Everybody has a story. Everybody has a journey. Yeah. I'm glad you shared yours with us today. And until the next time. Oh, wait, hold on. Let's ask a really important question. Caviar or wings?
Caviar.
Yes. She told you already. Like, the bar was set high.
It was. All the gristle with the bone. I do like a wing, but people say I disrespect wings, that I don't eat them right. So.
Oh, you don't clean the bone?
I definitely cannot. No, I'm sorry. I tried before. I can't.
Wow.
I don't know why. Since I was a kid. So I'd rather just.
We're going to have to work on that. We're going to have to work on that.
And I prefer flats over.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I saw that a mile away. A flat girl, for sure. A mile away, I could tell. You know, we always give. They say the flat girls are always with the difficult ones.
Oh, no.
Are we? No. Is that what they say?
I've never heard that. I've heard the best.
It's lies.
Right.
It's lies. We're the best.
Right.
All right, folks. Until the next time.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Make sure you subscribe, like, and follow. Stay fly and carry on.
Ooh, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.